Maria made landfall early Wednesday on Puerto Rico's southeast coast as a powerful Category 4. Then spent the day clobbering the rest of the island.
Residents were already dealing with damage from Hurricane Irma when Maria roared ashore. Powerful winds bent palm trees and in some cases snapped
Some of
them.
the first outsiders to reach Vieques. The entire island is ravaged, from the swanky W Hotel to the boats of Mosquito Bay.
I stayed in Vieques while Hurricane Maria was happening. It was really crazy to look at the ocean because the waves were crashing into each other. It wasn't like there was a swell, it was chaos in the water. And then houses were blocked with light posts, with big trees, and everybody was scared. Just like, what's happening? Are you okay? Oh, it's so good to see you and that you're alive. My name is Hatuey Molina, born and raised in Vieques, and I'm a student of marine biology and wildlife management. Te tengo las muestras por aquí.
Ok. ¿Tú vas a estar la semana que viene?
Sí. Pues estoy con los muchachos de la universidad. Y nos vamos el miércoles porque lunes y martes vamos a estar bregando los análisis de corales.
Ok, pues yo voy a estar aquí contando. Cualquier cosa que necesite, pues pasas por aquí.
¿Está bien?
O me llamas.
Y si necesitas ayuda ahí, me gritas.
Dale.
Nos vemos.
Ok. We are looking for the plankton community, especially a dinoflagellate that is called Pyrodirium bahamense barbahamense. Is one of the around 1,000 dinoflagellates that are around in the water. But this one is one of the few that actually is bioluminescent. It glows. The amount of them is so big that this bay glows year-round.
It's the brightest bioluminescent bay in the world. And it's something that is being threatened by climate change and the frequencies of hurricane and increased rainfall. So a lot of that stuff, it's affecting this ecosystem, which is unique to us. I've lived in Vieques my whole life, and then I opened my world a little bit more going to Puerto Rico and studying university. And now I'm going to Massachusetts and then traveling to Fiji and sailing from Fiji to New Zealand. Everything that I study there and I learn, it's to bring back to Vieques and hopefully promote science education to the younger generations. That's something that I'm really passionate about, teaching kids and showing them a little bit of my world and how I see stuff. Mark, he taught me a lot and brought the interest of marine biology to my life. And then I became a student of the Manta program, and now this is my third year as a teacher. This is family. This was founded by my grandmother. So again, very near to my heart.
These are propagules from the red mangrove, which are really cool. When they fall, they're already almost into a baby tree, and they float sideways like this. Eventually, there's a transfer of energy that goes like this, and they straighten up, and then they anchor in. see roots will come out of here. I can see leaves will open up there. Baby mangroves. My name is Mark Martin Bras, and I'm the Director of Community Relations and Field Research for the Vieques Conservation and Historical Trust. This organization started about 40 years ago, and it was just a little building they bought, and they did really good things, try to protect some land and agriculture and ceramics with Hatuey's grandmother, and did some good work and advocacy policy. But then it grew as it started to hire people, as it started to create these programs into an organization that is here on a very, very small island, but actually works in policy that is national and international. If you look forward, you're gonna see the change from the life that is here with the mangrove into a visual of death that Maria brought. This is an important key feature of bioluminescent bays. They have a narrow and shallow entrance that controls the flow of water and that also slows down the heavy swells, even in hurricanes and that kind of time. This entrance, because of this damage, is getting wider, and the exchange of water also getting wider. So if it does go too wide, it will lose that ability to sort of hold the high concentration of dinoflagellates. So that's one big reason this work is being done.
We got 4 types of mangroves in Vieques. The ones that we focus on the reforestation at the base, the red mangrove. When we get them from the wild, we put the propagules together in a pot like this one, and then when they start growing, they interlace the roots like this, and we start splitting them into groups of 3. We put them in the pot. Then when we got them like this, and then we place them in the tanks to start the whole adaptation to the salinity in the water. And then when they're ready, we move them into brackish water tanks. That will give them their first glimpse of salty water. And then another 3 months or so, we just put them in salt water so they adapt to the real thing. And then we remove part of the ceiling so they get straight sunlight. The whole process could take from a year, a couple of months. It all depends on the individual. Every plant develops different and grows different.
The dinoflagellates don't like fresh water. So mangroves are really important because they control erosion and they help to stop that runoff to reach the bay.
These are fantastic. It's rare. It almost looks like we planted them recently and they've been here for months.
And the leaves are green and they're producing even more leaves, so they're doing good.
Absolutely. These are doing great here. Wow, look. Beautiful. We're grandparents. I'll take some pictures. Number 70 has babies. It's great to see like the result, life giving life. We did have experts come in and assess the damage. And when they did, they said, well, you certainly have to restore this. They came, did some studies, and decided that they could have a conversation with the local biologist that was working with us. And that created that innovative way of saying, hey, we can grow them really fast and then acclimate it into where they're going and plant them there. And it was really ambitious, and we had a lot of people saying, no, that just will not work. It cannot be done. And as we grew, we had partners come in and shape it. And the local people that were working on the field were not biologists are saying, hey, this seems to be working better this way. The people who were working in the mangrove nursery were like, it seems it's better if we changed it, we adjusted. So it's been like an experimental process, but with a high success rate because of that system. Hurricane Maria was a monster. And it basically came at a time where people had not seen a big hurricane in a long time, so we were not prepared. And when it came, Vieques not only felt the sand blasting and the swells and the destruction and the failure of all these infrastructure systems, it also felt alone. For weeks, nobody came, as you would expect, the massive response out of all these agencies and all these support systems. And there were a lot of disasters happening, and there was a mayhem in the main island of Puerto Rico. So we were here alone, kind of looking at each other and grabbing things and making it work while that happened. So it left not only a physical toll, but also an emotional toll on all the people who were here that still suffer from a communal PTSD that is based on that. And I think the community had that potential. It's a great example of what we're talking about with 11th Hour and when other organizations are able to empower local people that have the means, have the know-how, have the desire to do it, but may not have the resources to put it all together and to establish something that's sustainable moving forward.
We can see it clearly in Hatuey. He is the better example that we can teach children how important and how beautiful and how great things can happen in the place that you are from. And that applies to every place in the world. That can relate also with the work that we have to do to try to protect our planet, because we don't have another house. This is the only house we have, and we humans have to understand that.
The answers towards climate change are within nature. And I think that's something that the whole world has to realize in resilience and in climate change is like, we're no longer able to afford to wait or have other people do it. We all have to be resilient. We all have to be addressing climate change. We can no longer be in these small niches where we ignore climate change or the effects of it.
Vieques is beautiful, but we are seeing all those effects from climate change. The Bay is a really, really important cultural and economical part of Vieques. So protecting this area, which gives us identity and it gives us sustainability, is really important. I'm doing both bachelors. I'm doing marine biology and I'm doing wildlife management. Something that it's really important for Vieques, and I do it because of my love of Vieques. Again, I live in an island which is surrounded by the sea, and I need to learn how to manage it. If nobody else do it, I got to do it. This is daily occurrence in Vieques.